Hey, everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of the Project Webtoon Podcast, our bi-weekly discussion topic show where we go over some of the hottest webtoons out there. And of course, you know, where we cover Solo Leveling, Peerless Dad, That Got a Highschool, and soon to return, The Tower of God. I am, of course, your big dog host. It's your man, Sleepy. And as always, I've got my homie, the homie over here.
This is ArcDragoon.
Hey.
Seraph is out.
Seraph is out this week. It was a bit of a long week for him, so he had to take a break, and we'll go ahead and we'll truck through everything and anything going on in the interwebs with our favorite series going on out there. And as always, before we start up, definitely go ahead and give us a like, as well as hit that subscribe button so that you guys are notified of any of the new content as it comes out. But
Don't worry.
He's
just playing Genshin Impact.
You mean he just blew us off so he could play more gacha?
Yes.
Is he that hooked?
Because his waifus are that important, yes.
Oh, I don't think our man will leave us out like that. I don't think he's that kind of person.
You've never seen a man addicted to crack before, have you?
I mean, I have, but that's not the same as gacha. It's so much worse with gacha. I mean, I'm friends with you and a few others. Y'all have some very odd problems.
We gave up Dokkan a while ago.
I would much prefer you guys on crack than gacha games. I wouldn't be so baffled out of my mind when I hear how much you spend sometimes. Just like, but why? It's not even like a physical stimulus.
Seraph is contemplating $200 so he can do like a pool, just start pooling and like stream that for you guys. So we'll see where that goes.
I just don't understand why none of y'all will just come out and say that you just really, really want to play dress up. That's all it is. You just dress up. Either way, we got some hot chapters to cover this week. Few things that did pop off, especially with Solo Leveling. Mookhyang Dark Lady gave us another drop for a new chapter. Descent of the Demonic Master. Peerless Dad, we got, I think, 2 new chapters out there, and one of my predictions came through on that one, so I'm gonna get excited with that, as well as Lore Olympus and God of Highschool. So let's not hold off on this too long, and let's jump right in, because I know folks are probably dying to hear what's going down and what we got to say on it. But let's go. I'm gonna start us off on the first one, back from hiatus after so long of a time. Ended on I don't even know if I want to call that a cliffhanger, really, because they were in the middle of a battle. But we're going to go with the worst of heroes to start off with the FFF Class-Trash hero. And we
continue where we left off.
We did continue where we left off.
They summoned a giant catfish god, and they can't deal with it. How are we going to do with this? I need to power level right now. How do I power level? What's the highest level thing here? Oh. Hey, mermaid princess.
One of my companions.
I'm going to kill you.
I got a plan.
I'm going to revive you, and then I'm going to kill you, and we're going to repeat this process. This is how we're going to win. That was really hilarious. I'm sorry.
I'm only going to guess the light novel. It's much more graphic and much worse than what he probably actually does. But still, this dude is a trip. I don't understand any of his plans or where his story beat is going to come from at any point. Honestly, I think I should just be really looking at this from the lens of a villain and just be like, okay, what's the most effective but evil way to do this? And that's probably the best direction that's going to happen.
He's a vindictive person now. He's just like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want.
I mean, it's not
let me go home.
I mean, it's not so much he's going to do whatever the fuck he wants, because he's still trying to get home, but he's not like intentionally destroying the world. He
did that with the last run with the dragon, so...
Well, okay. That wasn't entirely intentional. Well, okay, I take that back. That was intentional, but it wasn't entirely intentional in the idea of what he was trying to accomplish.
End result?
Yeah.
Yes, I guess.
Like, because, I mean, the idea for him is like, even if I destroy everything, as long as they don't know who it is that did it, I should be okay. I mean...
I want a scene where, like, the Demon King just sees this happening. It's like, man, I thought I was evil.
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, we already got like one factor that we know that what was it? The Elf Queen and the Demon King are basically like hooked up in this trifecta anyway, so I'm not sure how evil we got. And there's already, like, as we've gone through more of the repeats, we found, like, out that there's more other, like, heavy world-class enemies out there that he never ran into before that seem like are much bigger problems than the Demon King. I mean, this thing, even with him having all of these secret stats as well on top of, you know, power leveling to himself, he's still having difficulty beating the crap out of this thing, and yet he one-shots the Demon King.
Yeah, but the Demon King has the effect where, you know, he's supposed to be weak against some period.
Yeah, because he's the hero. But this is now an actual challenge where it's like, oh yeah, your level or the special bonus you get, there's no effect on it here because this is not the main objective of what you're supposed to be doing. So
it's just like you're playing Final Fantasy VII and you're like, okay, I can beat Sephiroth, and then you're like, but can you beat Ultimate Weapon?
Yeah, can you beat Ultimate Weapon? So what you're saying is he's gonna have to he has to stop this fight and go and find oh god, what was it? He has to go and find Emerald Crystal instead, and so that he can give himself a like one-off stat bonus that makes him immune to whatever attack.
We'll see. But no, it was good to see it start again.
Yeah. I mean, I was hard to say I was expecting like the way that it ended, because most of the times when they go on hiatus, they don't end their cliffhangers like right in the middle of like an event or an actual arc.
I don't remember. Was there even a mention as to like, oh, we're going on hiatus last time?
Yeah, like, because remember,
right? No, you're right. There was an end. There's like, oh, this is the end of this season. Yeah,
like literally one of the panels. Yes. It's like, I'm just going on a break for like so many months. I mean,
you know, it's fine. You take your break. Fine, fuck it, it's fine.
just showing off. I just take my breaks whenever. Who gives a shit?
just don't do the berserk thing. It'd be like, leave us on a boat for 3 fucking years or something. It's fine.
Hey, I mean, at least everything else was complete up to that point. I wasn't just, well, I don't know how we're handling this situation for 3 years. But either way, yeah, it was good to see the whole game, the whole show and series start back up. Hopefully we'll finish up this run and see either how much damage he causes or what new situation he's going to be into for the next time. Granted, we still have the secondary hero in here, which I'm still wondering how he's going to kind of screw up his plans. My bet is still that he ends up either becoming some new, either stronger version of a hero, or he'll kill the Demon King by accident completing the quest, and that'll screw him over in some way. I don't know. I'm banking it's gonna be something stupid.
I'm more curious as to what happens when they do defeat the Demon King, and then like the main character here is still, you know, like considered FFF rank, and then the other hero like passes, and like, how does that restart? Like, oh yeah, do we just give him another
a new hero partner this time as well? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah. So there wasn't too much to dive on that because we're still in the middle of finishing off this current run right now. So hopefully with the next couple of chapters we'll move past the fish god and into the next problem that'll be coming up for him. But we'll move on to our next series here, and a big one for this week going out, getting into some solo leveling with our homeboy. We actually got a few. These chapters actually weren't actually action based. They were more definitely story based. Brother, our homeboy, is still in the middle. Well, I mean, he's not in the middle. He's already completed and basically gotten permission to open up his guild and also run any of these dungeons completely by himself now, pretty much gaining his title of solo. But at the end of the previous one, we had a citywide gate opening up, and in Japan, and Japan is basically now like we brought up before, Japan is now going out to other countries and trying to find other hunters to ask up and shore up their numbers. And they do mention Thomas Anderson in there, and they're just like, yeah, there's no way that
no one could afford him.
There's no one could afford him. There's no way that they could afford him with their current economy and problems. and they also didn't want to go to certain other closer countries because they figured if they do, it's going to make them look weak. So
I mean, it's all politics at this point.
I mean, true. But they end up going to this one dude. I can't remember his name now.
He's supposed to be the top support character.
Yeah, well, he's supposed to be a top, not just top supporter, but very specifically top barrier thrower. The people that actually go to recruit him are all S rank hunters, and he locks them all down. And it doesn't look like he breaks a sweat doing it. So, but the thing is because this dude is, arrogant beyond.
Well, he's asking for 10 million a day. And
he's asking for, what was it? Was it 10?
It's 10 million a day, and then
15 billion for the year or something. It's over $1 billion.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. 15
billion for the year. Basically, he's basically saying, yeah, you can retain me for however indefinitely long if you pay this ridiculous amount. And to show off hey, I'm as good as I think I am, he locks all three of those hunters down. And they're basically, who else are you going to get besides me? So, yeah, Japan's just in not a great state right now at all. Especially with the loss of so many of their hunters after the Jeju Island thing. But
it's not like they could have dealt with this problem even if they did.
It's true, but it doesn't take much for the world to really notice even if Japan were to go under, it's okay, but this is still an open gate, and we don't want to leave this just by itself regardless, because it could become a much worse problem the more you just leave it off. But the moving on from there, going back over to our homeboy, so now
time to enter the double gate.
Yes. Now, not just specifically, he's with mom, and she asks him if she needs to be worried about anything. He says everything's cool. He ends up going back to the gate back at the school. Another gate apparently opens up there again, and the key he got from completing the previous one gives him the location of where he needs to go in order to activate it. And he goes back to that school, and he sees the other hunters, or he sees the association out there telling him that a bunch of hunters already went in, and he basically goes, you need to just tell them all to clear out, because and also
they're gonna die.
Yeah, they're gonna die, and also inform the association that a double gate has appeared. But he walks into the gate, he finds the other group before they basically walk into the chamber that he walked into before at the very beginning, and tells them all, you need to bounce. They make a comment of our guild, we paid for this, we reserved this shit, this is ours. And he goes, all right, and he pushes open the door, which none of them could open before, and he goes, by all means. And one of them walks in and nearly gets decapitated, and he's like, so that's what's inside. If anybody else feels they're good enough to go inside, follow. And they all just are like, nah, I'm out, I'm cool, fuck this. And we walk back in, and it's once again the room full of statues and the creepy fucker in the corner. But this time, homeboy is very much in charge. He notices something's different, and one of the statues before, the one that was holding I believe it was
the one that was holding the plaque,
the plaque of the rules of what has to be followed. He tells him, he basically speaks out that everything in here is fake. Basically, it's not moving on its own accord. Something's controlling it, and it's you. And that's when you just see this creepy smile appear on its face, and basically it go, oh,
the time has
come, and it ends there. So hopefully what this means is we're gonna finally get some explanations of either the system or the
no explanation, just fight.
Just to fight. You're just gonna get straight fight. Come on. I mean,
so far there has been no explanation for anything, so it's perfectly fine with it continuing to be no explanation as we
Well, I mean, this is the point to do it, because
not actually
But don't you think this is the point to do it? We're now back where we started.
Nah. Because that would be the system isn't an asshole to him. You understand this?
I mean, has it? It's been pretty good for him for a while, for quite all up to this point. The system.
No. The system has been good as in rewarding, but it is basically an asshole to him though.
I mean, well.
Oh, you had to have died in order to have gotten to this point. You understand this? And like, you have to have suffered. And like, we went through like, I gave you these questions. If you don't finish it, then like you have to suffer with my like.
You have to put you get the penalty game.
You are absolutely right. Where like the system has been rewarding, but the truth is the system is an asshole. It doesn't have to like explain anything at all.
I mean, there's nothing saying that the system's working in like with regards to what's going on with those other random combatants that we got right now, but it could explain like why it chose him out of all these people and exactly what these abilities are that it's like bestowed upon him.
All it has to be like, you're the Shadow Monarch, and then that's all it has to say. You'd be like, but we already know this. And you'd be like, yes, I know you know this. And you're like, God damn it, I wanted more than this. Give me more.
I think you're disappointing yourself before they actually get to anything.
He'll end up fighting, and then he'll walk up with some sort of new power or revelation, or because we raised the flag with the mom was like, oh, are you going to go do something? He was going to come out completely trash because he wasn't ready for it or something. Like, that's basically what it's going to be.
You think that?
I mean, you don't raise flags unless you're going to like complete flags, right?
I mean, it's not hard to see why you couldn't raise some flags here. I mean, he's at least going in by himself. Granted, I'm sure some of the others.
It's not like the door allowed anyone else to enter. That's why when the other group tried to enter,
person, it killed him. The person who was not permitted to enter, was attacked. But I feel like this is a good spot that it could drop a lot of that exposition to explain some of the systems, at least because it is the very thing that bestowed it upon him.
Don't give me exposition. Okay, do not say a word as in like, do not explain it to me. Don't explain it to me. All right. It's been perfectly fine where you explain nothing to me and like I have to like figure it out myself and the main character has to figure it out himself. The game should not tell him anything at all. Okay.
So you just want no explanation.
I want no explanation. Okay, so... I want a proper story where there is no explanation. You have to like get context. It's like, oh, what's going on? Okay.
Okay.
Like actually pay attention to the story.
Okay, so there's like, no win here.
Like this. We know that he's the Shadow Monarch, but we know he is in like the Monarch and all stuff because there's enough talk and discussion about it, and there are characters who claim that he is, and they know what he is. Okay, but it's never been like explicitly said to him that he is, and that's what I don't want. I don't want the statue here just suddenly spouting shit, be like, hey, let me explain things to you, and it'd be like, no, don't do that, because up to this point, we've had it where like we've had to like learn it on our set like by ourselves. Okay, I don't want this book just spoon feeding me like information. Don't spoon feed me information. It's been real good that you haven't been like spoon feeding everything. Like
okay. I want to comment on that. He says it's been real good, which is very odd for that because it's usually been the thing that you complain about the most is that okay, there's nothing giving me information here that I don't already have or pretend to.
But it's not like. But the thing here is, it's not like it's not giving you information. It's giving you information. You just have to like actually read it and pay attention and like break it down yourself. Unlike other times where like there's like it's like other stories where they just skip between these. You're like, I'm missing context and I have no idea what the fuck's going on here. Okay, there is like this isn't like I'm missing context as to what's going on here. All right, the system has played itself out very well. All the shadows know who he is, even like when he fall against like when they fall against the necromancer, even the necromancer's like, wait, your master, blah blah blah. You're like they talked, they discussed, there was words, there was things that you're like, oh, this is like Chekhov's gun being fired. Okay, that's what it's supposed to be. Don't just like give me like exposition for everything. Like,
I didn't mean for everything, but I mean they could give us some exposition, at least a little bit more knowledge of what maybe like the actual dungeons are. Like, are they connected in some way? Is this just another world trying to push through, or is there some other plan, or is just this whole thing that is a completely separate thing unto itself? Because I mean, you'd figure that there'd be other individuals like him potentially running around, and we kind of got maybe a hint of that with the opening of the season. So it's just the idea, like, maybe I don't need like just word for word exposition of just give me the overall everything, but it seems like it's a spot where we could gain a little bit more knowledge into the story, or at least give the character a new directive, because currently up to this point he doesn't really have a direction that we know of that he's going towards, because the whole thing in the beginning was, all right, I just had to heal, and then I need to be able to find the cure for my mom. We've already completed that goal. So
just
now,
don't spoon feed me information, and I'm fine with this.
Okay,
that's all it is.
All right. So that a very small order for you in order to continue forward, at least in a good pace. We'll have to see for sure.
We're so far in this. I'm invested. I'm not.
You're invested now. Yeah. We've put too much time and energy into it. We can't allow it to fuck up.
There's no way. I'm going to be like we're going to get to like a god of high school, and I'm like, you realize that I'm this far in this, and I'm invested in this, even though like at this point I have problems with this. Yes. Okay.
Oh yeah. No true winning here. Just more or less finding some equal footing as best as you can. But either way, yeah, I liked that. I liked watch just getting us back to where we started off, and just got me to the point of like, oh, okay, some shit is either about to go down, or about to get at least a nice handful amount of knowledge dropped on us about something within this world. I'm still looking for. I'm more looking forward to that next chapter to see what it is this thing, creature, or entity has to say to him, or even better yet, like what he's gonna say to it. But yeah, so I'm guessing most of that chapter
have the next chapter about all the stuff that happens outside of the gate. No one gets to know what happens. He just walks out, and then we have no. He just goes, "Oh shit, that's what's going on." And we're like, "Wait, what the fuck's going on? We're all lost." And I'd be perfectly fine. You'd be even better. I would laugh at that. Okay, I would be angry, but I would laugh, because I'd be like, at least Stefan got nothing out of that.
So now it's just an attack on me. Okay, fuck you too. That's all I gotta say to that.
All right.
All right, you goddamn squid. All right. Well, since we got that out of our system, we'll go ahead and we'll move over here to the next one. From one solo master to another, let's see what's happening in the world of legendary Moonlight Sculptor. So where did we leave off on this one? Where he was still in. What's up?
No. They don't keep track of how much gold he has, right? I don't, because
they don't tell us.
They don't tell us. That's the problem here, because we know he's making bank. That's fine, but I feel like we should be told enough, especially at the beginning of this, as to how much he had. Because this quest has it where like he has to go and like discover stuff about the legendary Moonlight sculpting shit. He's spending a lot of money on everything, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, the funny thing is that at the start of this new arc for him, when he gets to the town, he's panhandling. So they're making it seem like he's like 100% broke.
He wasn't actually panhandling though.
He wasn't?
He wasn't. Remember, he was just there miserable, and they thought he was panhandling.
But then he because he was rolling around the town at first, but then he goes to the poor section, and he just starts making mini sculptures for just whoever to come by. But I mean, the way he acts is he spent all his money. He acts like he's broke. Like he spent all his money on that quest and saw no return of investment on it. And he starts off.
He's now spending millions and millions here, and be like, I guess I have to buy this off you in order to get information.
Well, it's even funny enough that it just comes down to the fact that the one thing that he holds more value than anything is just, being able to either, I want to say get, but scam the most money out of the system, or to be able to discount having to spend anything or get a better deal for it. And he's forced, in order to continue this quest, essentially, to more or less go around to each of these guild masters and ask them for knowledge. But of course, every one of them basically walks him into a path of I have this item that's really somehow sentimental to me, and you have to give me money in order to get it. And at the same time, we'll also unlock,
Here, let me give you a piece of information that you already know. Thanks.
I mean, it's not even a piece of information. It's more like a snippet of the information that he doesn't know but doesn't really understand how it fits together. So he has to go to every one of them in order to stitch the whole story.
So what you're looking for is a sculptor. Yes.
Yes,
I know I'm looking for a sculptor.
I did like that it ended with it like, all right, now that you have all the story beats, now you need to go find a sculptor. And I'm like, what? the most obvious one. Okay. Yeah. So at least this one was an entire chapter that was focused on the MC the whole way through. We didn't actually even at the end it didn't skip over to anybody else.
It's slightly a problem with this because this was actually like a chapter of exposition and clues and riddles and stuff. And even when I'm reading this, I'm like, all right. I'm not asking to like for everything to make sense, but something sense. Okay. Like,
you didn't like the fact that none of this made sense?
None of it made sense. Okay. None of it pieced together well enough for me to be like, oh, okay. The only thing I can think of is like, oh, his sculptures shine like moonlight. But like, yeah, but we already know his shit shines. Because like every single time he finishes like a masterpiece work, it's like, oh, it's shiny. Cool, that's great.
Okay.
What is this supposed to do?
Okay, honestly, I got out of this. The whole bit is just one solid joke. That's what it is. It's supposed to be a whole solid joke on MMO fetch quests, especially ones that are story elements where they're like, you have to go from one to the other and you have to do something stupid or give them money.
If this was a story quest in an MMO and I had to pay millions upon millions of gold in order to
wait, you haven't done that? Oh my god, I know you have. We've both played enough Final Fantasy Online to have done something exactly like this, where it's like, we know you need to get this item, or you need to you need to find out about this thing, but it's like, I know
it's never been like, oh hey, you need to buy this off of me for 1 million gold before I give you any information. I'm like, man,
we've totally had that, but I meant more. I mean, it wasn't 1 million; he was like 1,500. But I was more talking like the fact that like we can already tell like they're giving us a quest to do something. It's like, well, I already know that I should probably go to this spot or this area to find the actual answer, but it forces you to go around to all these other people before it just gives you the main objective to just, all right, now go to this place. I'm like, but I already probably knew I needed to go. Why did you make me do this? I think it's supposed to be commenting on that, like how it just gives you mindlessly dumb quests that either A, waste your time, or B, make you pay money for something you probably don't really care or need or want to use. So I that's what I at least got out of that. And by the end of it, that's what it seemed like. Because at the end of the day, it's like, it just gave him the solid information he knew, which was, oh, you need to go talk to a sculptor. But I already... So, yeah. Hopefully with the next chapter, we'll either he'll actually gain some knowledge, or better yet, we're probably going to skip over back to somebody else. Since we did hear about, at least I think in the previous one, that the sword noobs are apparently causing havoc. Or they're at least terrifying people around the area.
No, they're just OP motherfuckers.
Well, it's not that they're OP, it's just the fact that when they do fight, they do it very thoroughly. So they're killing everything in their path, and it's fine. It's apparently causing a little bit of problems and fear. But either way,
I mean, they've made a name for themselves. They were like, oh, should we go hire the sword noobs? No, we avoid that shit.
No, we don't.
They sound like they're trouble. But they're so powerful.
Well, yeah, because the one leader was like, "Hey, shouldn't we hire those local mercenaries that are doing that thing to help us on this quest?" But yeah, either way, not too much to speak on with that entire chapter, but more or less just a long commentary, at least from the main character's struggles of somehow still either being poor or spending too much money. I'm not sure. Yeah, so hopefully in there we'll get a little bit more going forward with him. I'd like to I would like to be with you. I'd like to know how much money he has actually has or is spending.
You just have to give me how much he has so I have context as to like how much he actually spent. Or like how much this was like, did he in between quests go out and go do things, or did he go sell things in between? Like, you just need to give me enough for me to be like, oh, okay, I know what's happening in the story here.
Yeah.
Unlike here, where it's like in the beginning, it seems like he I know he's a tightwad for money.
Yeah.
Okay, but at the same time, though, he must have spent at least like 5 million or like more in order to get all of that like information, right?
I don't know if he spent at least 5 million. I'd probably say maybe 100,000 or something, because I mean everything kept coming out to like 1,200, 1,500 gold all the way around. And granted, we know that he's making bank anyway in the real world for making the videos, because he has that exclusive deal. So it's not like it's super hurting him in the long run.
It is always hurting him. That's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
If it involves money, it always hurts him. That's the whole point.
So we got Scrooge McDuck the anime, or the webtoon.
Yes.
Either way. All right. Well, we'll check back in with the sculptor himself once the next chapter hits up. But we'll move on here to our next one with the ladies over in Inso's Law. Only one chapter out from this one. I'm pretty sure we're probably gonna get a brand new one. Yeah, we'll probably get a new one like probably tomorrow, right off the jump, since this one came out just about a week and a half ago. So we are back from the trip, from the retreat. Danai is basically, she's gone back to the regular way of treating Rudal. She's walked off the whole thing of getting the kiss on the cheek. No one's really seeing it as much anything else, and she's not taking it anyway. But the big thing we got from this, I'm sure, I don't know if we brought it up in the previous ones with Euro Yang, but the way this one ended out with, we got Danai ends up getting informed by one of her other friends about basically a blog post that is more or less just a group of people that come together just to talk shit about Euro Yang. And the thing is the person who supposedly started this, the actual blog post, is using her name. So we already got it in the previous chapters that we saw someone called Euro Yang's phone and basically started talking shit on her. So the guess is that it's the same person who started this blog post, which I believe you and I both guessed it's the one girl that pretended to be is supposedly friends with her.
Who's pretending to be friends with her, who's like, oh look, I'm like a Danai too.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm just soft like her. I want to be friends with you, Euro Yang. And I'm just like, bitch, can you at least try harder?
Can you at least not be as conspicuously evil as you make yourself out to be? Yeah. So
the anti-Danny is what it is.
So the next arc will be more or less the fight to save Euro Yang, because I'm gonna guess either anti-Danai is gonna either do some shit to put her in harm's way.
Have them where they point each other the Spider-Man thing and be like,
"Oh God, it was you." God. If only it ends up that stupid. But my guess is that the way it ended, she goes to I don't know why I can't remember his name, but homeboy that is at least the master manipulator / planner. The son. Yeah, we just call him the son. She goes to him and she tries to have him basically hack the site to find out who the person is and if more or less where they're at. So my guess is with the next chapters, it's going to be her either finding that information and confronting that person head on, or since this is, the webtoon of tropes, do we see being something else?
I don't know. It's like it follows tropes, but then it has it where the main character denies those tropes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not entirely sure where this wants to go with it. That's where the fun part of the story comes from. It's not that she's not aware of the tropes and like we're not aware of the tropes. It's that she denies the tropes. She denies
walking into the tropes as much as she can. But yeah, so I'm just wondering, at least on this part, since with this arc, we're gonna move off of a Danai problem and basically focus more on one of the other characters having an issue. Since this was one of the fears that I believe she's raised up with her, is that people will, because Euro Yang is the popular person of the entire school, that she garners the most hate potentially from a lot of other individuals. So I don't know if Dan-I trying to deny that trope, but very much walking into some of them, will be the person that'll try to like back her up, or at least take care of it before it becomes a forefront issue. And I'm sure that she's already gone to one of the kings. She'll involve a few of the others as well, since I believe they're also aware of it before, since what's his name took care of it when she got the phone call. I think it was Yu-Hung. But it was one white hair. I don't remember. This is where I would like to have Seraph. He's a little bit better at remembering the names for all of these characters.
Man, I need a fucking name tag.
You need subtitles. I'm sure I could put up a disclaimer. It's like this person at the bottom. But yeah, so not too much.
I need graphics right here to show me, like this person. I'm like, oh yes,
that dude. I'm probably gonna put that up there. This is the one. Yeah, not too much to speak on this chapter since we only got one. But like I said, in the next couple days, if not the next couple of hours, we'll probably just get a slew of 2 or 3 chapters out of nowhere and just be like, oh, okay, here's the rest of the entire arc, and we'll have to wait until next week or the week after and to talk about it. But either way, still looking forward to more and more with that. But did you have anything else on that one you wanted to bring up?
No.
Nope. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll move on to our next one. From the daughters to the sons. Back in the world of Peerless Dad. 2 chapters with this, and it was fire. I was so right. I was so right on that. Homeboy, the two dudes that jumped down, of course, were guards for homeboy that got little bald boy that got beat up. They were family guards, but right away when they start talking shit on the kids, who but anybody shows up? Uncle Locke. I'm more convinced that Uncle Locke is you, Arc. Just for what he says. Okay, come on. So after he shows up, and
you mean the part where I tell you that, you know what? I don't care if you get in trouble. Just don't die on me. Is that
no,
it?
No. It's not that. It's the fact of like after they show up, and Ak basically tells the guards that they need to worry about the other son and the other kids, and that they would start a fight with children. They all run off, and he starts to punish the kids, and he goes, "I'm going to punish you." And they ask him why, and he's like, "I'm not punishing you because you fought. I'm punishing you because you got hurt, and you shouldn't have got hurt."
Yeah.
And I'm like, that sounds like something as stupid as Arc would say.
I'm not punishing you because you got in trouble. I'm punishing you
because you got caught.
Trouble became my trouble.
Yeah, you made me have to deal with it.
If you had just been able to take care of this kid by yourself, I would have had to come up and clean up your mess. That's literally what this is.
Yeah, I was just like, God, it's so on point with him. So stupid. But our little sister was definitely gonna throw some very nasty hands on that kid before Ak showed up. But they end up like moving out on that situation, and we find out that the kid that they ended up beating up, he is the son of essentially what is supposed to be the main Fed family. So he's supposed to be, I don't know if he's supposed to be the new leader that's coming up, if I'm correct.
I'm not totally sure.
I think that is because what happens later on is we see they're back at the family estate, and the mom is basically taking care of him, and she's talking shit on the guards. We're like, why did you let this happen? This is supposed to be, the next clan head or clan lead. This shows weakness. And that's when the one teacher shows up, the
older sister.
Not just specifically the older sister, but the flying their one teacher, the flying dragon. I believe that's her title. The sword dragon. She shows up, and she basically, more or less works out on the favorite.
No,
kids.
she's one of the apprentices to the sword dragon lady.
Okay, I could have sworn that was.
That's why she calls them like juniors and stuff, because they all practice under the same master.
Yeah. Well, because she says specifically after like the whole thing, she tells them like, yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah, hey, you don't want to mess with these kids.
You don't want to mess with these kids. There's no point in that. They're not going to be, they're because they're being trained by three.
They have like
three separate masters. Yeah. There's no way in hell that you want to do that. And if you did, it's just going to bring shame on the family as well as your son. So you probably.
I mean, if you want to try, go ahead.
Go ahead. But she walks away and says, "Oh." She's like, how should I, what kind of present should I give them now for doing this? So that's what made me think it was the other sword lady.
No, I think she's the one who, when they get introduced by, they meet up and like she gives them a present or whatever when they first show up in front of her.
Yeah, but that would be also, what's her name? That's interested in Brother Now.
No, Brother Now, she shows up when at the compound where they live.
Oh yeah.
This girl shows up when they're being shown around the compound by the red-haired master.
They're being shown to the college, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I really wish they didn't give names to them, so I'm like, I can't.
I don't think we've been given an actual proper name for her.
We haven't been given a name for either of them, so I'm just like.
She just told them to like, no, just call me like older sister or like senior, and that's all it is.
Okay. So, well, she's at least taking care of this part of the situation for them, but they are slowly but gaining more and more of a notoriety, because I'm sure most of the family heads are equally hating each of these kids because they've already beaten up a bunch of them prior to this. At least some of the lower, or they're either not the older kids, but they were the same level as them. They're just their other fellow classmates, but now they've actually beaten a senior. So I'm sure that's garnering them.
Bitch, all you gotta do is square up. That's all you gotta do. It's fine.
I mean, I don't know if that's a good idea.
What are you gonna do? Get in a fight between kids, right? That's what this is. It's fine.
Honestly, I don't know if these fights would be with kids anymore with the way they're training. Especially with that little scene we get where the brother and the sisters are out training on this tree, and she's watching them battle, and they're actually seemingly starting to slowly get their rhythm down. So they're actually learning that technique a little bit better. But going off of that, she gets a flashback to her master, and she starts going off or speaking specifically of why they always do the circles, and he basically spouts off a bit of a philosophical tone for her, and then she carries it forward to another one, and then he tells her like, just don't even look into that, don't remember that. So I'm wondering, granted, I know her knowledge and her skills are probably far higher than her brother's, since she can clearly see what it is they're trying to do, but
she doesn't know where they learned it.
She doesn't know where they learned it from, because none of the masters would have taught them, and that's where I think I and Seraph definitely we came up with that it might be from the other twins.
Oh, it's definitely from the twins.
Yeah, it's something very particular to them. So yeah, I was just excited to get.
I that she was told to not learn this kind of stuff, because it definitely looks like it requires
two people.
The twin. Yeah,
it's a unique skill that's required from two harmonies working together perfectly. So it makes sense for that. It was just nice to see the kids like get a full out story for once, and know that no shit is going down back where they're at. And like I said, now it has very little to worry about. Ak is essentially around them, guarding 24/7 if need be. And he won't jump in until it actually becomes a serious situation. So that's at least a good confirmation to know going forward. But over with Brother Now, what's been happening with him, which I thought he was actually back. He was in the medical office back at home, but he's actually with the other sword clan, and he's with the other clans right now. They were healing him up, and he was pretending to be ill,
lying out of his teeth, basically. Yeah. Oh no, I wasn't strong enough to fight against them. It was definitely your fellow brothers who took out the sword, the Iron Demon.
The Iron Demon God.
I just tried to help out where I could, because that was the right thing to do.
The one solemn tear. I knew that I had to do this for the children because they were so close by. I couldn't leave them to chance. Yeah, so I'm not sure what the tactic is here, why he's specifically lying out of his teeth, if he's just doing it so that they won't look further in to what he did, or if it's just like, oh, well, they're the enemy, I shouldn't be giving them information regardless, kind of thing.
I think he's just trying to play as smart as possible. Like, there's no reason for him to give them that information.
There isn't any reason for him to give.
He also doesn't want to let them know that he technically could have saved all the men, but that he was like, I let them all die for my sake.
I mean, at the time, they're still, at that point, they were still technically enemies, so he doesn't really have to save them, being that they're all enemy combatants. But it seemed more prevalent to take out that threat more than anything else. So I don't know if they're just holding him specifically just so they can try and gain information, because it sounds like they believe that he is also a practitioner of the Iron Demon God style, because that's what it seems like they're all basically
similar, but not exactly it.
Not exactly it, but they're all seemingly thinking that, and they're just trying to like either suss it out to be sure, or if they're more worried that he may, if he is one but isn't like to that level,
an imposter.
Yeah,
is that it?
Someone else might be there. Yeah, you're pretty sure getting what I'm laying down there. So, I'm actually kind of interested in seeing how far this goes out. It's actually a kind of a different character change for him, just to see how much he knows how to play this kind of weird game of espionage for himself. Because more of the time it's always just usually been punch it really hard and I'll take care, and that'll take care of the situation.
Bang my head against this real hard, it's fine.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. If I punch real good, it'll fix the problem. But here he's using his brain more and more. We're seeing that out of his character. It's like I can't win this just solely by being the strongest in the group. The fact that the last fight he literally had to sacrifice 20 different armed high-level warriors.
He didn't need to though. He was just like, I'm just gonna let them kill each other.
Well, I think he needed to, because he couldn't determine it. Well, because multiple times he tried to run away, but every time he either got stopped. They either got stopped by the Iron God or he got stopped by them, and he didn't want to take the chance of leading them back, or it just becoming a worse situation. So it's like, all right, I just need enough of you to go down to know that if it becomes that, I can take the rest of you out. So, he's still seeing everything like strategically. He's not just straight up like, I'll handle the situation as it is, and then, the story will dictate that I'll win because. So, he's actually thinking this out. He's not just like kind of doing it and just letting more or less the plot armor save him. So it's fun to see this in his character, because that's always what I would expect from him, because we've already been told like he's not exactly the smartest person. He still can't. I believe he can read.
No,
now.
He's not the most knowledgeable person, but he is definitely he has street smarts.
He has street intelligence, but the fact that his daughter can read and write and she's teaching him. So
yeah, that's fine.
Is it?
He tries.
Does he? If I remember correctly, before he tried to read before he couldn't, so he just gave up.
It's fine.
You only see the good in everybody sometimes, don't you? Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
What? Am I not supposed to see the good in you either?
Yeah, I know. I don't believe that, because I know you're lying to me. Either way.
Doesn't it feel good if I lie to you? At least
Shut up.
At least there's there's that little, right?
Shut up. I need none of your hope. It's all superficial and fake. Anywho, yeah. So, we'll see what the next chapter brings out for the dad. Hopefully, we'll get to the end of this little. It seems like he's convinced them, so we'll get to the end of him having to play the secret spy, and he'll head back home here pretty soon, and we can start the next issue. If not, they'll ask him to join them on a mission to find the actual village, or where the Iron God came from.
We'll see where this goes.
We'll see. There's still at least some spots in here that could be filled in with what they might end up doing next, but we'll go ahead and we'll move on from that one. Since we were on one Iron God, let's go to all the gods as they battle it out in the God of Highschool here. Now, I feel like the more I'm gonna talk on this, you're gonna slowly freak out. But we'll see if we can keep that calm enough to explain. We don't have Seraph here for this, but I know that we ended the last time we were all extremely confused.
But why?
We were extremely confused specifically because we didn't understand what Odin was trying to show.
But why? That's what this is right now. Like everything up to this point, like even like any other story beat has like served a purpose in the story, and we're now at the point here. This season has been like a lot of like, I don't understand, but why are we doing this? Like, but why do we have this story arc of another clone? But why do we have this? Oh, Odin is now trying to save them, but why? Like, Odin has no reason to, though, right? Like, Odin has no reason to try to save the Monkey King, right?
Because he wants him to protect Satan. Satan's his best buddy.
Oh, but then, guys, we're gonna have them a cool training montage so we see what happens. But you mean the montage that lasted for like 3 panels, and then they were like, let's just separate them again, because like I didn't see him get anything out of this, right? Did you? Oh, I mean,
outside of friendship,
Satan saw the remnants of the old Monkey King in him, and I'm like, okay, but why? Did we need Satan to tell us that like Mori still had the Monkey King powers or something? Like, it's not like we all thought he wasn't the Monkey King at some point. Like, I'm so confused.
As I said, I figured he was gonna slowly get there. Yeah, so I don't know what the library was. I'm guessing I would figure
no explanation as to what that is.
Okay. I would figure the idea is because Odin and the mythology behind him, you know, he sacrificed an eye for wisdom. He has now an interdimensional space library where there's tons of wisdom around him, books of knowledge. So I figured that's what this is kind of supposed to be representing, and that's where he hides away, or at least he hides.
That's a lot of speculation.
I'm just going off on some guesses here. That's my only thing. But they the things as it goes on is more or less after they get there, there's the whole talk between him and Satan. Satan basically like being a little whiny that, you know, he lost. Granted, I don't know how Satan's still alive. He's got a literal hole in his chest where his heart should be. And it's basically a buddy heart to heart, you know, where what you were saying with Satan saying you're weaker than you were before. Granted, we had this whole training arc prior saying that he was getting stronger than he was before, or he was now stronger than he was originally at the end of the previous God of Highschool tournament. But these two basically team up and say, like, I'm going to train you now to be stronger than you were before, be as strong. And they go through the whole thing, and it's only a couple panels, and then right when Satan ends up using his abilities, Park sees them, apparently, which it just comes up as like him using the ability gives him some kind of connection. And he sends one of his minions, Inquisitors, after them. At the same time, while Park is now just meditating wherever, doing what knows what, all of his, I would call them Inquisitors now, are basically going around and performing not the purification, but the test. So they're basically now testing everybody, all the gods and the humans are basically being put through the trials to figure out if they're worthy enough to survive. We don't see what the trials are, but it looks like they just stabbed them a bunch. I'm guessing.
Oh, you survived? Let me stab you with power now. I'm like, okay. When was this ever said? I thought the whole point was like, if they survive, then they survive. Not but like, oh yeah, you survived, let me reward you, anything. When did Mookhyang Park ever tell them at all that this was going to happen? I'm confused.
Well, once again, we don't even know what the survive means. We didn't know if it was just like surviving in this new harsh land or whatever. The
only thing I can think of with this new chapter was that the whole purpose was to make me hate Mookhyang Park even more, guys. I mean, but I was like, we already hate him though. I don't need to hate him more. I don't need this point where like, oh, Mori got saved by this old man and this kid, and then they like die in front of his eyes. Like, I'm like, but why? Like, we We already know everyone is dying around the planet. I don't need you to give me any more reason, because this is the same exact reason. You are beating a dead horse here, literally. Like with like.
Well, now we're getting to the point where all of the people that are dying, but the people that are surviving are now joining Park. So, and some of them are humans, some of them are gods. The thing is when Mori has to fight now, he now has to fight against essentially the people that he was trying to protect / save. Is he gonna fight and kill them? Because they're just killing people indiscriminately now. Or if those that don't meet the qualifications. So, I mean, granted, he utters in the chapter, like, I still don't forgive Park. He still hates him with a passion, and his goal is pretty much to kill him. But, you know, with the way that this is going, will there be anything left to even save at this point? You know,
just end this torture, end this story. It's so long, and there's so many like, but why moments. We could have ended this already. Stop.
They only keep it going because they know how much it hurts you. They're secretly the.
It's not my fault. You won't kill me.
I mean, it kind of
just kill me.
It kind of is. A little bit.
Die.
Nope. I only assume this form just because it brings you joy.
All right, move on.
Okay. Well, now that I've had my fun out of this, since I feel so much better, we'll go ahead. We'll move on from the gods to the demons here with Descent of the Demonic Master. Oh. So we got a
date.
We got a date chapter. Unlike most of the date chapters, at least any that Homeboy could have been on, this one is more direct and more like an excursion friend chapter at first.
No, dude, this is a date. This is definitely a date.
Oh no, it's definitely a date, but the whole chapter plays off as she's making it as a date. He's seeing it as doing errands. So she's running from store to store and buying stuff, and he's just doing this basically as, just as a favor.
It's the generic, like guy gets taken out on a date and like loathes this shopping. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's definitely that, but he sees this more as a favor because that's what she pretty much asked him for, was a favor, and that's what he's seeing it as. And by the end of it, we get that nice touching moment of her basically going, I like you. You need to come correct next time and notice that, someone else likes you. So, and he kind of straightens up for once and he's like, oh, okay. I will keep that in mind.
All she has to be like, I want to suck that dick. And he'd be like, oh, okay, I get it. All right.
But would he?
Yeah.
I don't think he would.
That seems pretty straightforward. I'm just saying. All right.
But knowing him, I feel like he'd just be like, but why? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Yeah. So it was a nice off chapter from all the crazy, especially after the kidnapping of the sister last time, and also the fact that he knows it was the association that did it, and he got information on where they're at. So do this one thing before he decides to go berserk all over the panel. And I was right before. His hair did change back to red.
Yes.
Full on.
It's now full on red, yes.
It's now full on red again. So, and he does state that it was probably due to his demonic ki, that he used a little too much of it and it changed his hair color back. So, red clearly means devil time, and someone will die. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, so I would like to observe it with this one, but I just enjoyed this chapter just because nice, solid date chapter. I mean, more so than his previous one where he's with his one friend, and it just never clicked with him the entire time. But this person being just extremely more direct. So, do we see this actually going somewhere for him?
You mean the love interest?
Yes. Well, I mean, this is the first love interest that's been extremely direct and Also, very.
You mean the love interest that's not a trap?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows?
I mean,
he's pretty dense. I'm gonna say he's pretty dense. He has his like.
Well, I mean, his
priority. He has his priorities.
He has his priorities, but his denseness usually comes in.
His priority is not to fuck. Okay, he's just like, I am just here to take care of my family. Leave me alone.
I am here to live a life of normalcy once again that does not involve murdering tons of people as best as possible. I'm really bad at doing that. I've already killed 2, if not 3.
It's fine. It's fine.
Is it?
Yes.
All right. I mean, we'll have to see. I'm feeling like
we're now at the point where he's been told the location of the group that sent the
gang that sent the gang that sent Astray, and now also the ones that
then like the other organization is like, hey, at least let us know ahead of time, because at least we can clean up.
Yes, at least we'll know when you're going to do this, so we can clean up extremely quickly, so that the media doesn't know about our existence. So he's slowly building a system of working here. I haven't seen the president show up again in a while. I'm guessing that the one assistant is basically supposed to play like the in-between for that. So whenever something really serious happens, so I'm sure we'll see the president show up one more time, but at least we know he's covered on all money and doesn't really have to worry on that level. But now he's slowly getting into the underworld, and granted, I'm sure that's going to raise way more of a problem, since I'm guessing once he takes out this gang that's been after him, that's when we'll get information about the Red King again, and he'll probably show up next, because it's probably going to be an issue since he told those guys to take care of the problem, and very clearly it did not go the way it was supposed to. So hopefully with that, we'll also get the introduction of the other kings and or queens out there from that other association, and we'll see more from this as it goes down. I'm sure his sweet life will be interrupted here in a little bit, if not within the next couple of chapters. But anything else you wanted to talk on that one?
No, there wasn't like anything that like happened to the story really, besides some character progression for him. Mm-hmm. So he's a little bit less dense about romantic lives, and also us knowing that his next target is going to be that the group that sent the assassin. The
question I'm more wondering is when he's even with him becoming the less density that he's getting from this, is when this is going to start affecting or potentially causing issues for him to have to do some of these things, because he's gaining more people that essentially he can care about, and those make more targets for him to have to worry about, like the fact that his sister got taken in. And he's managed to keep most of these hidden things away from his family.
I feel like if the Red King even knew what was happening, he'd be like, no, don't. Why are we involving innocents? All you have to do is just attack this one guy. Like, I will go challenge him right now. Okay, like there's no point in involving this kid's family. Like, why? Like, they are not demonic practitioners. Only this one kid is. Like, he may seem like, like he may be put off as like being an anti-demonic practitioner, mm-hmm. but the Red King doesn't come off like he has no honor, though. Do you understand that?
No, I definitely see that. I don't see that he doesn't, but I don't know how the other kings operate, especially for the fact that, some of them work with like the Yakuza and other shit. So it's not hard to see that some of the lower level minions will go so far as to do the dirtier deeds to get things done, whereas the higher level individuals will of course act with more honor, and we're not about attacking just random innocents or family to get our point across or whatever. But it just seems like the more time that it spends with him, the higher chance that just becomes more of a probability to occur, and not just the simple fact that he seems, while he is more trusting of these individuals, he still seems to keep a lot from them. The fact that, he doesn't tell his sister that, oh yeah, the 2 guys that kidnapped you were actually after me because of this so-and-so thing that I can do. or I actually have, multiple organizations that might be on the lookout for me or whatever. But no, you just keep living your normal lives. It's all good. At what point does this become the Peter Parker fucking syndrome?
Like, what you mean?
The fact that the only reason my family, I keep hiding things from my family, without so that they're completely surprised when they suddenly get attacked by this random unknown monster for no reason.
Yeah, but we also get to the point in like current Spider-Man where everyone knows that Peter is Spider-Man, and they're just like, Peter, seriously?
But at that point they're also like, you're really bad at keeping this secret.
But like,
this kid's been pretty.
Here are the only people that knows that he's like this is like the
president,
the president and the assistant, right?
I mean, I don't know if the assistant entirely knows. I feel like
I
feel like he thinks he's just weird. That's what it is.
Did you? No, you're gonna end up killing people, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit. He doesn't. He might not know that like our main character here has like super fucking special powers or shit.
Yeah.
But he definitely knows that like, no, this kid goes and kills people.
He definitely knows that there's something odd about him, at best. I think the president knows that he's got some kind of abilities because he's worked it on him. But yeah, so far it is only those two, and also his one disciple, who is still out. He's not out in the mountains anymore. He's roaming around. So yeah. Just a thought I'm wondering on, at what point that may occur, if it may occur in the story. We'll see how that goes, but we won't keep too long on that and move on here to our next one with Up Into the Skies and Lore Olympus, actually down below the skies right now. With our last chapter with Zeus putting out a warrant for both Demeter and for Persephone. Currently, Demeter we saw was just literally sitting in front of her own like living room watching the news when this was going on. Persephone's on the run, but the new chapter opens up with homeboy Hades heading into a meeting. Well, first stopping over at Poseidon and seeing his little nephew, but they're heading into a meeting with Zeus to discuss exactly what this punishment is that he wants to dole out.
Because Zeus is like, hey, I'm going to send out a PSA to everyone. I want Persephone because she did bad things. And Hades is like, nah, leave her alone. She didn't do anything. I would have known.
Yeah, he's like, well, what bad things did she do? What is this bad thing she did? And he's like, well,
and then Minth is like, hey, they might do something, like punish Persephone just like how they did with what's his name?
You're talking with why can't I remember his name? But
Bringer of Fire.
Yes. Brought fire.
Prometheus. There we go. Prometheus
gets his liver eaten.
And then Thanos Toast was like, "Oh, I just wanted her. Like, I just want them to take down a pig. I didn't expect to kill someone. Basically,
I love that. Well, they're not dying; they're just forever punished. But I do like the fact that both.
They're gods.
Well, yeah, but I do like both the fact that Minith and what's her name are both like just super excited about that. Like, she's gonna get punished and it's gonna be an eternal punishment. And Thanatos is the one that's just like, I didn't think it would go that far. I was just hoping, maybe she'd get pulled down a peg or two, or she'd get yelled at, or
she needed to like work next to me because I didn't want another god watching me. Like, I just wanted a god punished slightly, not be like, oh shit, I ruined someone's life forever. Oh my god.
I mean, I'd be more worried. I think he should be more worried about his own skin, because I'm sure if that would happen. Hades is not only going to put the hands to him, but I'm also not worried about what's his name? Not Hephaestus. Hermes. It might beat his face into the ground too, just because of he told him to mind his own shit and leave him alone. And leave this whole thing to where it was, but he just had to go that distance. But yeah, so Zeus just being exactly like his character, talking all kinds of shit. It's like, everyone's not respecting me, blah blah blah, and we need to make an example out of this, because this is the only way we'll get power. At least we'll get respect for our roles as the three rulers of the area. And Hades being big man and coming to the defense, being like, what do you mean? This is not how we handle things. And also, do you have any proof of this? And he goes, well, I spoke to, so and so.
I spoke to Helios.
I spoke to Helios. He's like, Helios hates all of you. you do realize what we did, right? It's like,
we took an old man, an old god, and we were like, we're gonna drag you across the sky like the sun here, okay, Helios? And Helios is like, I got no choice, do I?
I mean, it's like you are a captured enemy of war. You have no say in what happens in the rest of your life. But it's like, yeah, why would he tell you the truth or not? He could fucking lie to you at any day. But yeah, him trying to get to the bottom of this and also trying to protect Persephone from this supposed punishment that he wants to deal out, showing off that big character moment, especially when Zeus comes out and reminds him, he's like, yeah, and if we remember correctly, who's the one that saved you? Who's the one that got you out of Dad's stomach when, you were just that small, innocent child, unable to defend himself? And I'm like, just throwing that cold shade on him, but he at least came out of that and stood up. He's like, you know what?
That's the only shit you got on me.
He's like, he's like, okay, that's the one thing you got. But what else is there? And he's like, he's like, okay, put it better this way. Test me and see what happens. If you don't think I won't do something, we'll find it out.
If I was Hades, I was like, bitch, you knew I liked fucking your wife, and then you were like, nah, I want her, and you stole her from me. You really like this bitch? Shut the fuck
up. I do like those two just fighting it out, and then just Poseidon with his son just not knowing what to do.
Just stay quiet.
Just gonna be.
I mean, let's be honest. It's not like Poseidon in like old Greek and Roman stories is any better than Zeus a lot of the time. So
I mean, like, no, it's not. But I mean, at least he's taking care of his kids. He's at least there. Yeah. So, I'm at least glad that homie Hades is like actually standing up to his brother finally. Not just taking his bullshit, laying down. Granted, Zeus seems like much of a pushover because. I mean, hell, he fears his own son. We know he's not the strongest fighter, but he is the one to boast the most. So, hopefully.
Oh no, I like the bit where they're like, they're trying to like, Mint and them are trying to steal, Hades back, and then they're like, okay, so you guys know that Persephone killed a lot of people, yeah. Maybe that's his fucking type.
Murderous gods.
What are you guys doing? Why would you think that that wasn't his type? Oh, you know his type? Like you know his type, right? You've been dating him on and off and like not working out for him this entire time, but then suddenly this girl walks in who is like also a murderer of death, and you're like, nah. My murderer doesn't want your murderer. What that is.
I do love the multi-panel of Hermes just going off on all of them and just basically putting them all in their place. Like, oh yeah, so like you were saying, you think that this is what he likes, even though you didn't want to date him all this time. You've never wanted to commit it.
You had your chance.
You had your chance, right? And you just threw it away.
Go away.
And then, just go into Thanatos and like you like this girl, and like she literally won't see you as anything more than this. And I don't know why you're going along with it. You're fucking leftovers for her, if in anything. But yeah, and then he gets to.
We discover that Persephone is in Hades' towers.
We do. Well, her tree is still there. She's not in the towers.
No, it's a new tree though.
Well, I don't know if they took out the old one, because remember before when she ran in there by accident,
maybe I don't know.
She used the trees in order to protect herself.
But yeah, Hades is like, wait, there's the tree.
The trees started reacting. It's growing uncontrollably, and that's when he heads out because he's wondering if she's there or if there's something else going on. But yeah, so at least we're right. We know that she's in the underworld. We just got to find out where in the underworld. And I'm pretty sure the tree will lead us, since usually 9 times out of 10 where the tree is at, it's usually growing near or out of her. So, Yeah, hopefully within the next chapter we'll finally get her back in the arms of Hades, and we'll have to see if he's gonna either like stash her away and keep her from Zeus, or how exactly that's gonna work out, because I feel like a lot of friends are gonna have to be called for favors here. I don't know how much of the warpath we're gonna go on between that with Zeus, as if not, we also have what's his name, who's basically causing the events of all of this, his other son, Artemis's brother,
Apollo,
thank you. I should know all these names. I should remember all these names. I've liked Greek mythology for a while. God damn it.
Oh, Apollo, you want advice on marriage? Why don't you go talk to, my wife, Kara, about it.
The only one person who can actually okay this. Yeah, I see him doing some bad shit coming soon. I really hope he catches the left one, if not a right as well. But either way, yeah. So more chapters on that hopefully coming soon. I have tried not to read ahead so that I stay on task with this one. Granted, I want to. But we'll move on here to our next one, second to last, but not certainly least here, with Mookhyang Dark Lady. So we are back. We're still in the castle, but he did pull out his
Andromeda.
He pulled out
the big
Andromeda,
blue one.
the big blue one. And while I thought this was specifically for a trading purpose, it was not.
No, it's like, hey, you're a big experimental one, and it is very
it's kind of difficult to wield you.
Inconspicuous to have you. So I need you to sit here, and I'm gonna go make another contract with another.
Yeah, I need you to break the oath with me here, and I'm gonna go make a contract with somebody else. So I'm leaving you for somebody else. I did love the shitty back and forth there. Just no.
No, I love the bit where he's like, we can't have anyone see you because you're a secret like weapon, and he's like, but if we kill them, what? No, we're not just gonna kill everyone we see you.
But I wonder if this thing embodies the trash hero. If we just kill all the problems away, then they don't see me, and therefore there's no issue. Yeah. So, we at least get a little. We already remember that how they handle working with. I forget what they actually call them. They're not golems. But the mechas.
They are golems.
Are they called golems?
No, they're not called golems. But they are recognized as they're like golems too. So
yeah.
They're the.
I completely forget what the mechas are called, but
we all know what we're talking about here.
Yes,
so it's
yeah,
fine.
we do. But the whole thing there we get with him breaking the contract specifically, not only because it's an experiment, but he also wants to, or should I say, she wants to better control her ability with her magic. Because essentially anytime, he summons him and he just drains it all. But he says now that it's much more vast, it's not so much a problem, but he's like, no, I should work my way up.
He was like, no, you were not worthy of me before, but now you are.
Now you are.
And I will not give you up.
Because that's a problem. He's like, I'll come back. I need to work this out.
You see all these peons, these other peons who tried me? No one. You were the only one. And then the other suit shows up and it's like, wait, you gave up Andromeda for me? Oh, I feel special. Yeah. Yes. I will accept that contract. Let me just scribble my name on the for you. That's what it is.
Just X out my old name and there we go. Just a passathon here. Yeah, so that was a nice healthy exchange of power there that was going down. Also, Dark is deciding to test out the troops. So we now know that there are some military combatants, at least in the castle vicinity, that he needs to go through. And basically just showing off dominance, like, all right, this is why I'm the leader.
Y'all are bad, and I'm gonna make you all into masters. And they're like, wait, you can't do that. And he's like, oh, watch me.
The old adage of you can't do something that I clearly will make you do anyway. So Arc will have his own little mini army of power users coming soon. Yeah, so I don't think it'll be too long before this nation becomes this little providence becomes one of the most powerful ones in the area, especially under his leadership. And yeah, so not too much to delve into there, but a pretty simple, straightforward issue of moving forward along. At least the entire kingdom seems like it's going well. He hasn't run into too many
I really
problems.
liked how this chapter was not spoon-feeding me exposition, because it was really great that like the exchange between like him and also Andromeda was like, oh no, this is how this works. Like this contract works this way. Okay, if you may tell me that you don't want it anymore, but it's a two-way street. I did like the fact that that the actual suits can deny canceling the contract. Like I figured, like usually it's always a master-slave thing, but this one it's like no, it's an actual treaty. It's a compact between both of them. Yes. And if one doesn't want out, then it's like, well, there's nothing you can do about it, essentially, unless there's like a forced way of ending, which I'm guessing is I destroy it or something like that. But yeah, it was a nice way of getting that extra information, exactly how this kind of works out. But this also, I'm guessing this also means that we're, with him training all of those other knights and getting them up to master level, the idea is that they're all going to get their own suits very soon here. And if not, they'll be to the point that they can actually use suits a little stronger than what they're normally used to. So we'll probably see maybe like Andromeda Lights coming soon or something like that. We'll see what happens.
We'll definitely have to see. I'm kind of wondering when the other group is, or his mercenary group friend is actually going to get their own little power suits as well. Because I figured they'll have some special training that they'll get on the side, since they've been around Dark long enough to know that he's not exactly as they were all surprised that he was basically back at the rank he was before. They were like, weren't you just cursed like a month ago? like a couple months ago? Yes. Mm-hmm. You went like from like 100 back to 0, yeah, and now you're 100 again. Yes. I call hacks. I mean, he's had a lot of help. Of help.
He has.
He hasn't done this in like the cultivator style where it's all by themselves and
he had the help with the Aqua Ring.
I mean, the Aqua Ring, the dragon. He's had help quite a bit. Not to mention he's now basically a vassal to the king. That is the king of the guy that cursed him. So he's gotten quite a bit of help in this world. And it also helps that he's in a world where it's like mana rich, so he doesn't have to spend hundreds of years just collecting all of that energy from very small sources. So he should easily get back to his old level, if not surpass it much faster now that he is also trained in this world's magic on top of it. So he's got quite a few different pools of energies to pull from. I'm guessing that for these next couple of chapters, we're going to keep on the slice of life path here that we're on, where we're just going to get him more or less just dealing with every little small thing that's going on in the kingdom, just getting it up to some kind of par before they actually either deal with new issues or venture out beyond it and handle things that are going to be either about expanding the territory or just defending it. But either way, I'm still happy to see that. I'm kind of hoping that we either get a reoccurrence of another character, either one of his old ones coming in. I really am kind of hoping that he runs into the one guild thieves chick again, because I feel she would be great to have, because she has expert knowledge of just the underworld, and I feel like that's just a tool to keep on hand. So, and also she's the second person he met outside of the family.
Outside of the mercenaries?
No, not out of the mercenaries, because he met her before he made it to the town, because he threw her off the bridge. So I just wondering. It'd be fun to see her show up again, and like when she left him, it's like, oh, he was a poor bum that stole from me, and now he's a count of an entire area. What the hell happened? Yeah. Either way, excited to look forward more with the Dark Lady, but we'll move along here to our last one, the big dog out of the gate here with the beginning after the end. 2 chapters on with this, leading off of the last one where we were informed that there is a new world out there that the top scientist of the area has... It's speculated, but in this chapter he gives a full breakdown of why they believe this is because they found not a device, but an animal that essentially could camouflage itself, and it had... a spell
magic that was not from here.
Well, it had a spell put on it specifically to observe, to take pictures and spy, and it was magic they had never seen before and could barely decode. So they speculated this as something from another place, and that's what they're trying now to reach across the country with. Why they're trying to basically build more or less an engine that doesn't run on magic. And Arthur gives them basically the blueprint designs for a steam engine. But yeah, he after he gets the information from this and discovers that, he heads back outside with his uncle. With the family friend and uncle with the 2 trinkets he got. And he runs into Dwarven Homeboy. He runs into him on the way out. But also, what I was waiting for, I figured what we were going to get at some point, he runs into some students from the academy. Very specifically, as always, some asshole students that are beating up on another kid. And very specifically, he happens to be another dwarf. And Homeboy sees this, runs over to help, and of course gets bitch slapped out of it. And that's when Arthur decides, oh, we're doing this. And the next chapter starts off with him basically very meticulously beating the crap out of each one of those kids. Yeah, we don't see Art get too pissed off very often. And I was wondering how he was going to introduce to the students at the academy and how we would see them.
To the new waifu?
Not to the new waifu, to the new students, because I was trying to figure out how he was going to be introduced to them, just because of the fact that he's not only he's not only. No, I would say he's on first name. He was going to
get introduced to them, and that was by sheer dominance. Okay,
no, because he could have been introduced with the fact of being a special case for the fact that he's actually one person that's recommended by the headmistress, and been tested by her. He is a quad magic user. So I figured he'd get all these special accoutrements, and that's how they would introduce him or show him off to the other kids. But instead, this way, it was, like you said, just, nope. He meets up with the first group of kids, which just happened to be complete assholes. Of course, they're also high-class kids, too.
The thing is, even if they had introduced him that way, the only other, it still would have ended up being, sheer dominance. Because, after introducing that, then we still have the asshole students who are like, don't think that you're better than us, blah, 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 blah. And then he'd be like, well, I guess I had to slap a few bitches, right?
Well, I mean, either not running into them first, I figured he could even run into Lucas first. And Lucas would be the asshole kid that would just then corral the other asshole kids around him. And then that would be the thing, is like that. But, or he meets up and just all of the high royal people that he knows, he rolls up with them. But, yeah, with this one, he does meet up, of course, with the asshole kids. Beats all of them down. They also happen to be upper class asshole kids, which also usually comes in as the common trope for that. Beats all of them down. One of them ends up trying to use mana power on him and gets easily taken down by, of course, the Princess of Sapien. So he's once again introduced to them, and they're grown up as well. So yeah, as you said, new waifu is now in order. So either the kids don't realize who she is right away, and then they become freaked out after it in the next chapter. And Arthur gets a front row first class seat all the way into school from that, which I'm guessing is what's going to occur. Or we see Tessa show up at some point during that and...
Catfight?
Yes.
Yeah, I would see.
Seraph gets his wish. I was speculating before exactly how the royal kids were going to show up. I was guessing that they'd show up at the academy, and that's where he'd see them again, but the story decided to take a quicker pace with this and just have them show up right now. So, yeah, this boy's connections just keep gravitating larger and larger with what's going to occur for him. Yeah, so this is still not even before the start of school, because he still has a day or so, because he's on his way back home for his sister's birthday.
Something like that.
So, I keep forgetting that keep forgetting that you actually have read ahead. Since you're reading the light novel.
I'm not saying anything.
I know, but I keep forgetting that you have read this. So me saying things to you is just more or less like,
I'm not even saying anything. See? I'm neither confirming nor denying what you're saying. See? You're fine.
This doesn't help. This doesn't help at all. How far ahead are you?
I'm not revealing anything.
How many chapters ahead are you?
I'm not revealing anything.
Oh my god. Are you actually going to talk to me at all? God damn it. All right.
You got your answer.
This is just it. So I'm literally just have to talk to myself this entire time, essentially.
I've been going back and forth a little bit with you enough to be like, oh, this is how it could have been instead, or blah blah. I'm not.
You're not. Okay. Droning is not the same thing as talking. You can't just things could have happened. It's like
I'm giving some input.
Are you here?
Yes.
Oh, so gracious. I am not. All right. Well, either way, yeah. So I'm just excited to see once again the entrance of the two royals with the son, the prince and the princess. Which at first I did not think it was the prince and princess, just because of the hair color swap for the prince. But yeah. So our school arc is coming. We're almost there. We've got an even bigger stage now with the Elven Kingdom and the Dwarven Kingdom and the current human kingdom all coming together just through the kids now. I'm not sure exactly how missions and school stuff will play out, since Arthur is an actual full-on guild member and has killed. I don't know how that'll put him in par with any of the other students comparably, since I'm going to guess most of them are just either high class individuals that
inexperienced nobles, brats.
Yeah, brats, inexperienced nobles, and of course there's going to be some lower class students, which we saw Homeboy getting beat up on. Yeah, so we'll have to see how many new friends he's going to make out of that. Assuredly, all the royals will be on his side except for a few. But we'll have to see exactly where that leads him to going forward here, or what he's going to be taking in school, since this is supposedly going to be a point for him to learn a little bit more about not only his own magic, but also a more solid thing on the beast wills, as well as everything else that comes along with it. I'm guessing that he can bring his animal to school as well. I would think so. I'm guessing we'll see some other ones there. Because the prince made a comment about it, like he wanted to ride his, but apparently it wasn't trained well enough yet. And I think he has the lion, if I'm correct. Because at the auction, that's what his father bought for him.
I don't remember.
Okay. I was positive I think that's what he bought for him. Because at the end of at that part, he offered to trade Art the lion for Sophie. So we'll have to see. Maybe that may come up a little later on. But either way, that does bring us to the end after everything and all of it. Oof. So we made it through all of those. Arc, anything that he missed or you wanted to bring up?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. You gotta poke him a few times to see if you make sure you can get a full conversation out of him. So, Either way, we'll go.
Gotten conversations out of this piece this time.
Oh,
fine.
Oh, yes. Either way, we'll go ahead and we can close out this one for the night. As always, thank you everyone for joining us for this current episode. Make sure if you want to go down below as well to check our links, all our links for our Twitter, our Instagram, our Facebook page. Definitely go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you can. It'll really help us out and we appreciate it. We do have more coming here pretty soon. I'm hoping within a few weeks here we'll be getting some other folks on the group cast to do a nice big talk on some topics that we've got coming up. We did just finish our recent reaction on Noblesse, and we're gonna have more coming up on that here pretty soon. But it has always been a pleasure, as I can say for the night. It is, of course, your host, your mean one-man Tom, Big Dog Sleepy. And as always,
this is ArcDragoon. Remember to click everything below.
Everything below. Anyway, everyone take it easy out there.